What is happening, everybody? I'm super excited to celebrate something today, and especially with Jay. And I put a little bit there in the post, but please welcome Jay. And I appreciate you being here and spending.
Yeah, man. My pleasure, my friend. My pleasure.
Absolutely. How are things with you? How's Puerto Rico?
Puerto Rico's great. Loving it. Biggest thing I can tell you about, if you'd ever make the decision to move to Puerto Rico, your friends will all come visit. And so it's a lot of entertaining, which I love. So it's really been fun since we've been here.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I wanted to put this together. So this is my 6th month at EXP, and definitely a cool way to celebrate it right here. You spent a lot of time to help me and definitely welcome me into the family. And I actually put together a little bit of numbers. I thought that you'd like that too.
Always. I love the math.
So since last year, before I came, I was at 6 million, and sold so far, we're at 2.4, and pending or signed, we are at 5.7 right now.
What? That's insane. Oh my gosh. So that puts you on a pace, man. That puts you on pace. What does that put you on a pace for, man? That's we're talking 20 million something, you think?
Yeah. It's on pace for that right now. And it's awesome. It's awesome. The agents are doing well. They're writing contracts, and one has 1 under contract, and Karen might have 2 under contract today. So I'm super pumped to see what works out there.
That's awesome. Well, so what do you attribute that to in terms of, you do it? First of all, I'm not looking for any kind of credit for anything. So I'm looking for the true, what did you do different in the last 6 months that maybe you weren't doing the previous 6 months that's getting you the results you're getting right now? Would you say?
Better spending my time, paying more attention to what's the best use of my time, whether it's being in appointments, phone calls, helping teach other people how to do this, and definitely with the lead generation. The lead generation was a huge factor to switch us over to start translating like that. But yeah, I think it helped to start creating my own brand as well. A lot of my sphere gravitated towards that. And previously, I came from a buyer. I was a buyer's agent with a team, and I wasn't able to list. And I think now that I'm a full-grown agent, I'm able to do that, and it helps.
Right. Yeah, it helps too. Getting listings isn't easy right now anyways. I don't care who you are, right? So that's a huge lift when you can double in deals and focus on the amount of time spent with the listing is less than spent with the buyer, especially when you're writing sometimes 10 offers for a buyer before you get one accepted. So that's an awesome transition, man. So I know it's hard. I know it's work, right? You know what I'm saying? We've talked plenty of times, it's not easy getting to that shift over to the listing side of the business. It's work. A lot of pieces got to come together, but sounds like you've got it kind of dialed in.
Yeah. It's starting to get fun. We wake up pretty pumped, and you've been there. So of course there's a lot of problems that come up that kind of come with that.
Right.
And that's part of the fun though. That's the journey of any kind of business that you grow.
Right.
Yeah.
It's part of it. If you're not in the struggle, then you're not growing, right? You're not moving forward. If you're not in the struggle, step into the darkness. But it's cool, and you've done a good job of leveraging, your partners to get answers to questions and help move you off a high center, or just justify, okay, here's where I'm at. Here's what I'm thinking. Am I thinking right? Or what am I missing? Right. So it helps when you have some people to bounce ideas off of that have been there before, and can help make sure that you're making the right steps in the right order. I can't underscore that enough for folks, having clarity on what it is you're trying to build, and then having, the right people around you to help make sure that, there's not something you're not seeing is such a valuable resource to just a shortcut to success. That's, we called our event the Exponential Growth Summit, and we've always talked about doubling and doubling and doubling again, and you're doing it. And, it's not easy. You know what I'm saying? It's just feels like you're trying to keep the wheels between the ditches some days, but, at the end of the day, it's super rewarding because you're helping your team grow. You're helping your clients, and you're building something special. So it's very cool, man. Congratulations.
Heck
Can't
yeah,
believe
man.
I can't believe it's only been 6 months, man. I feel like it's been longer than that. 2020 was the longest year ever. It feels like the first 3 months of this year are flying by.
Yeah, they were gone quick, and yeah, I kind of thought the same thing, and it was a coincidence, right? Like like I was going to schedule this just so that we could talk, and I really wanted to show people a little bit about what you just said, but then I woke up, I saw it was the 6-month anniversary. I'm like, oh, it's meant to be.
Right. Yep.
What you said was so powerful because like, how do you beat like there's a lot of like, including myself, where we really know how to walk a buyer through this process, how to walk a seller through this process, and how to present their property correctly, how to present their offer correctly. But what you're missing usually, everywhere else I've ever seen, is okay, maybe you have a mentor that sold 10 million worth of real estate in a year. Okay, great. So like you have that step, but here, like, I mean, what your biggest year by yourself? You did like 370 transactions.
By myself, it was 220 by myself. I did have 3 assistants. But I didn't have any buyer agents that year. So that was a lot of deals. I was productive. I was very busy. I didn't have a life, but I was, I was very productive and learned that, hey, if you get a lot of stuff off your plate, you can do a lot of transactions yourself.
And I mean, you progressed through there, but like, I mean, we've got, the people that help me, our partners are insane. Like, like it's stupid. Like it's really silly. And no matter which way that I want to go, I've got so much access to knowledge where like, I don't have to burn my hands necessarily. Like I can get to that point and say, hey, listen, like, what'd you do here? What happened here? And the value of that, I mean, that you can't put a value on it.
You can't. You really can't. I used to say, I'd go to all these events and pay to be part of masterminds and coaching programs and all that stuff. But it was the relationships with the people that were above where I was at, and because they would answer the phone, you create those relationships. But there wasn't any real reason for them to help me. There wasn't a financial alignment, so I didn't have unfettered access to them, at least. But that's the only way. That's the fastest way to get there for sure. There's no question about that.
For sure. And that's almost what I wanted to make the topic about this is like one of the coolest things about coming here and being here is that you take this resource and you take this wealth of knowledge and we're able to answer the real question, right? Like I watch real estate agents, whether they're 30, 50, 70, 90, there's a reason they're still there at 70 and 90. Right. Mm-hmm. Like how do you build a business where it works with or without you? And that's really the biggest question in real estate is, in 20 years, will you be behind a desk or will you be helping other people generate wealth and learn how to build this up for their family? Because it's such a tremendous opportunity if you know how to do it.
Correct. No question about that. It's easy to just keep pushing and keep going and just keep doing deals and being the rat on the wheel, but if you don't take a step back and look at, well, what's the best vehicle for me to get to my true goal, right? That true goal being ideally, having, a place where you have a business that serves you or a passive income that doesn't require you actively involved in it in order for it to produce for you. That's the thing that we all should be after if you want to have, a life, after real estate, it will suck the life out of you if you let it. That's for sure. I've been there.
For where I'm at, and like, I understand it, right? Like it's what I'm doing. I'm exactly what you're talking about. Like it's torture at some points, but like, it's a crazy market. If I don't answer the phone when somebody's calling me back about an offer that was sent, that might be the deal breaker where they lose the house.
Yeah.
Right. So
100%.
It's a wild market. That's for sure. What have you seen?
Yeah, man, it is. This is definitely inventory wise the lowest I've seen. It was pretty low in 05 and 06 across the country. In some markets, it was very similar to what it is today. But that was and I think it's harder in a market like this than it is when things aren't moving as much. I prefer this market over that market, but it's definitely a lot of challenges. And I think the thing that's probably the most challenging with any kind of growth, especially the kind of growth you're having, is like it's the who you have to become in order to get to that next level, right? There's things that we're not as good at or we're not as comfortable with. hiring and leading people and roles and responsibilities. Like I wasn't any good at, getting real clarity around all that stuff, but I had to learn if I wanted to create a business and I wanted to have some freedom. I had to become the leader that I had to become in order to do that. And once you kind of embrace that, there's going to be parts of the growth that are going to be a struggle. You're halfway there. Then, this is what it's supposed to feel like. I'm supposed to feel uncomfortable. I'm supposed to feel like I don't know what the hell I'm doing for a while. Right. Like that's just, it's got, if it didn't, then you would just be, you'd probably either be overconfident in just your thinking, or you would be lying to yourself. So,
yep.
Yeah.
It's, you made me think, you ever watch much on Neil deGrasse Tyson?
No.
So he's like a scientist, but he does a lot of the, the narrating and stuff for those shows. But he has a class on Masterclass, and the way he talks about it is such a cool thing for real estate. It's, they might be waiting to solve this problem in space, right? Like looking at whatever, how big Jupiter is. But once they learn how big Jupiter is, all of a sudden they've got 10 more questions because they never got to that spot until they figured it out. And then now all of a sudden that you're there, you've unlocked that door to see all the questions that come.
Okay, now what? Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a cool process that really relates in real estate. It's a lot of fun.
Yep. It is. Yep. And this is one of those industries that, you can learn something new. On your 2000th transaction, you could have something. I mean, Braden was doing a deal, one of his very first ones, and they found a honeybee hive in the attic. And I was like, I've never seen that happen before. And it was during an inspection, and had to get it removed. We had to find someone to remove it. I was like, that's a new one. That guy's not in my Rolodex. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't imagine, that was like a second or third transaction. I was like, yep, that's real estate. Get ready. You're going to learn something new on every one.
On every single one. It never fails, like the amount of things that come up. But that's part of the fun is that, what I really think that we are as real estate agents is that we're expert problem solvers. That is combined with a great skill of communication, because sometimes solving that problem creates a lot of tension. And we got to cool it down, and we got to communicate between each other to, I don't know how many times you've been in a spot where $500 over a $400,000 house was going to be the difference maker. And you're like, listen, guys, like this is needed.
Man, I've put roofs on houses. I've done all kinds of crazy things that, in all honesty, we shouldn't have to do, but not letting someone lose the deal over something is more important than an extra $500.
Yep. Absolutely. Awesome, man. Awesome. Yeah. That's the biggest thing is, I appreciate you joining on here. Cause
yeah, man,
it's a cool way to kick this off. And I definitely want to interview some great agents, even locally. There's a couple of great agents in this area. I'm going to give her a shout out. I don't know if she'll like it, but like Kimberly Pye, she's awesome, dude. Like last year she did 150, same situation you were talking about, 150 by herself. Crazy. And I'd love to get her on here and just show people a little bit about her. And she's always been so kind the entire time. Like I was a brand new agent. I would call her, hey, do you have anything coming up? And answered the phone every time or called me back. And she's definitely someone I really appreciate locally.
Those are the best kind of agents to work with. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. So this is the 6-month anniversary. I mean, obviously your business is going great. What would you say has been the, and maybe that is it, but the biggest surprise from joining EXP to that you didn't see coming, maybe that you didn't recognize on the front end, but now you're like, holy cow, this was a big deal.
So the stock program was something that I didn't realize that as I produce commission and I get it at the way it works with the discount. That's pretty awesome. Cause that's something that just sits in the back of the mind. I just poke in there every once in a while. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I think the number one thing where it was something I hoped for, and I think you probably remember when we were sitting down originally, the collaboration, the family oriented, the whole group. The Honey Badger group itself is ridiculous.
It's phenomenal.
Ridiculous amount.
It's an intangible. It's hard to articulate the value and get someone to recognize that. You have to almost experience it, kind of thing. But yeah, man, when you assemble a group of abundance-minded people that are capable of helping other people, that are truly capable of helping you solve your problems in your business, man, it's, you sometimes get more response than you ever would have thought, right? Like the quality of people that reach out, they don't even know, or not even really connected to you necessarily in terms of rev share or whatever. But the best of the best are the people that are doing the most helping, and that's probably the way it should be. But it's just cool to see on a regular basis. That's just the way it is. If you're not getting that kind of support where you're at, then you should definitely be looking at coming over with us. That's what I would tell you.
Yeah, it's super cool. And it's beyond super cool. I mean, like what the Honey Badgers group is, but it's also like when I came over, it like just in the aspect of this, right? Like there's 100 to 300 agents in there that are 100 million producers. Is that right?
Yeah,
Probably
that's
something like that.
For sure.
Everybody I've ever interacted, like I reach out to everybody, right?
Yeah.
Like I want to see who I have and who wants to connect and work through things. And no one ever once made me feel like I was annoying them, or that like my questions were stupid, or like everybody has welcomed me with open arms, laughed, and like say, they go through it with me and help me solve the problem. And that's something where no matter what, you're going to doubt that.
Yeah.
At a place, because that's the promise, right? You're going
right. Yeah, sure. Everybody makes that promise, right? Like, you come over here and you're going to get all this help and support, and we're going to help you with this and that and the other. And then most of the time it's a promise made and a promise not kept.
Exactly.
And when it's a promise made and it's a promise kept, you get pretty fired up about it, because it's like, man, they did everything they said they were going to do. This is legit, y'all. Like, this is real, right? Yeah. It's like, no, really, I mean it. This is like, really, they help you. And so it's funny because I get it. I'm saying, like, it's sad, but that's, it's cool. We're fortunate that there's a business model out there like EXP that really makes this all work like that.
It is. It's super cool because it ties into what you said a little bit earlier. Genuinely, most people love people like we do. Like, especially if you've reached certain levels of real estate, you only get there if you love people, because the problems 100%. that you have to solve, they come from that thinking process of, okay, I messed up here. Like, I don't want to hurt them. So what do I do to fix it? Or I could have done better here and I want to help the next person. What can I do to fix it? So what I've seen EXP solves is when you reach a certain level of production, you've lost your time. So that's gone. Now, all of a sudden, the free time for you to help people is kind of gone, because every time that you're spending time helping people, you're taking away from your family. And that's number one, always. But this aligns everything so that when you're spending that time, you're actually investing it, and it's giving you a return. And that's amazing to be able to help people in that way. So cool.
Yep. Absolutely. Love it. So, man, you got a big year you're on pace for 20 million this year.
That would be sick. My goal is 15. So like, I don't want to like reset it, but maybe I should
blow
like
past
kind
it.
of go back.
Yeah. Blow past it. It's the cool thing is, and I think, most markets are on that kind of a curve of, 5% of sales happen in January, maybe 6% in February, and then March, April, May, June, July, August are the bigger months, sometimes double, 10 or 11% of all sales happen in those months. And so, on the, if you, I think we have a tracker for this that, you plug it in, you plug everything in, and it takes seasonality into it's the quad track. If you're not using it, you'll end up getting it eventually. But that, that's you're on pace for way more than what you've got right now. So because of that, I mean that's a good pace to be on for sure. Pretty cool.
Right before we jumped on, I was on a coaching call with Joel, and he asked me that question, and I was like, Joel, man, like. This is I just celebrated my 2-year anniversary in real estate on March 13th. So like, no, I don't know much about seasonality quite yet, but like what is it? And I'll let you know, but I get it now. Like what you're saying is real true. And that's actually pretty awesome. Cause like we survived the desert.
If you put everything into the seasonality calculator where you're at production wise right now, you're on pace for probably more than 20. And it's, it's going to it's going to be you're going to have a good summer. That's what I would say. Expect that to be the case. All the work is paying off, but in 2 years in the business, man, I mean, that's, this is not normal. You're an exceptional guy. There's no question about that. And you do the work where most people I talk to don't dive in and really study and really try to become the expert. Like I see that in you and all the effort you put in and the things that you consume. And it's fun to have people like you to work with, because I know that you're gonna come back to me with the next problem because you did what was that, whatever it was that we said to do, and then you encounter that new problem, just like you were just talking about with the Jupiter, analogy, right? It's like, okay, I did this, and now this now my problem is this. Now what do I do, right? Like, so that's fun it's fun to work with. Jay Abraham used to say the same thing about us, because we were always the first one with a question, like every time we would have a call, and he said, I enjoy. I don't do this for I can't remember how he framed it, but he said, I don't do this for my own intellectual entertainment. I do this because I enjoy getting to see people grow and then run into new problems. And then, and he got a kick out of that, because we always had a new problem every time, because we were like, we did exactly what you said, Jay. And then this is what happened. Now what do we do? And so, but yeah, man, you're a doer. You're a great guy. You're doing great things with your team and your community as well. And it's awesome, man. I'm proud of you, and I'm proud to be in business with you, be a partner of yours at EXP for sure. We got a lot of fun things to happen in the future.
I know. I can't wait for that mastermind.
Yeah, I know, man. Me too.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, Jay, I really appreciate your time, and I appreciate all the time you spent with me and getting to introduce you to, just the people that are around me and my friends. And it's been really cool working with you and Braden and just the whole family all the way through.
You got it, man. Appreciate you very much, and have a rocking day.
Heck yeah, you too. Talk to you soon.
Yep. See ya.
All right. Bye.